So we'll just try and get familiar with what Richard's talking about in terms of, you know, he's been experiencing some tightness there. Okay. So Richard, you were saying it's sort of, is it coming through here?
Come that's here.
So
Copy these.
finger band.
I don't know what you think, but that's where
To me, that's the upper little finger band.
yeah.
So you're feeling.
Yeah, I don't actually feel anything at the moment because I haven't been doing anything, but
Yeah.
that's where I've been having problems.
Yeah, and then you're feeling it because it feels really tight through here,
Yeah.
and you're feeling it up like through here.
No, it's more down here.
More down here.
Yeah,
Okay.
just
Before you use chopsticks, especially if you haven't warmed the person up, I would warm the person up with your fingers. Okay, so again, I just want to feel how are his joints, get a bit of blood flow happening in there, and especially on a cold day, if you ever feel like the person's hands, or if you're working on their feet are cold, then get some blood flow happening. Okay. It doesn't feel nice to put a chopstick into a cold finger or a cold toe. So just get that blonde. And so him describing that he's, you know, getting, and I can feel it's really tight through here. I'm really thinking that this is my first objective once I get in and start working him. But usually while I'm here, I like to work the whole finger. Okay, and we'll get, because there's several bands that are coming from here. This is the technique I was describing before, where we really assess the mobility in that joint. Because of course we're always moving our joints like this, but we don't move them like this. And this is a great indicator of how much tightness there is, and it's a great way to prevent arthritis and that buildup of calcification in the joint. Okay, he's pretty good. He's not got really cold fingers or anything like that. So I'm just going to get started, and we'll see how he goes with it. So normally, like I say, for the other three bands, I'd start here. But because it's the upper little finger band that I'm suspecting is where his problem is, I'm going to just start here. How's that, Richard? Is that okay out of 10?
Right.
Okay. Again, I can just hold that. Here I'm actually like projecting my energy into that spot, like a laser beam. This is what we're talking about, why wooden chopsticks can be better than it's easier to do this. And then notice I'm going to change my angle ever so slightly. And then again, a wriggle. As I say, once I got my spot, I actually do close my eyes because I'm no longer going to be moving it around. I just want to really focus on the energetic side of things. And here, because I'm wanting to push it up, instead of just going straight in, I'm actually going to come at a slight angle here. I'm presuming that's Kiwi for yes, I can feel that. Thank you very much. So just, you know, I don't want it overwhelming for him. So I eased off slightly, and I'm just holding it or just slightly moving it side to side. Oh, I can feel so much energy moving from that finger. It's coming into this hand. Yeah. You can see the indentation there, right? So he's got a fairly high pain threshold, which is good because we can then, you know, get in and move it. But he's also got a fairly strong body, like a tough looking, you know?
Mm.
And then side to side. Once I've left, you know, that first joint, then my movements tend to be a little bit faster and a little bit more broad, okay? And I just see, if I've taken 10 or 20% out of here, that's how much I'm gonna get out of there. I might give him a rest, because you can see I've worked him pretty intensely in there, but I'm gonna actually come in here. Because in some ways too, I often think, okay, even though we could say that's the start of this band, I actually think, is it actually starting here and then going under the nail and coming into there? Of course, you know, we're not going to work over the nail. So I do think that this point could still be beneficial on that band as well.
Do you maintain the tension all the time when he's breathing, or do you?
The pressure?
Do you push it every time it's
Right now, I'm trying to maintain it at about an 8 for him. Just let him breathe into it. If I feel like it's too much for him, then I'm going to ease it off. And sometimes I will work deeper at the end of the out breath. But right now, I'm just maintaining the pressure. And just letting him. Hey, so you know, it's feeling highly charged to me. Again, I want to. Just holding and letting him breathe. And then ever so, what I call micro movements. See how small those movements are? And then I can even change the angle that I'm holding. So like I say, what I call my micro goal, which might be the whole treatment, is to loosen up this finger as much as possible. if I get this finger loose and I got more time, if he was in for an hour and a half, or I might do the next finger. Unlikely that a man like him, I would get his whole hand done in 2 hours. As I say, the side-to-side movements become a bit bigger as I come closer to this joint. It's very easy to be pushed off of the when you hit the tension right beside this. It's like pushes you off, you know. And I'm seeing how much is going to let go here. As I say, this is what I call the first run. This is just one run over, not expecting 100% release. Possible, but unlikely. So now I'm just going to come and do this one as well. Because sometimes, like I say, he might be tight here, but if this is still tight, that can affect the opposite band as well. So don't always think bands exist in isolation. You know, one band being tight can pull another one. And the source of it could be the other one. So what I'm trying to say is, like, if you got a tight band here pulling, say, this one, you might go, that's tight. And you work it doesn't let go. Because once you release this band, this whole band lets go. So that's something to think about too. That's why I say don't get caught up. If something's not letting go, it's held somewhere else. So I'm gonna ease that, because you can see he's starting to pull his finger away. So I ease off. Until he like relaxes and gives it back. We've got to, you know, find that bridge of trust, and where he doesn't. I don't want him thinking I'm going to overwhelm him. And I know it's intense. I can feel the intensity of it. Can you guys sense the intensity there? I can feel like it's just boom, traveling up here. It's going into this hand. But what I was hoping for, he's doing good breathing, right? Okay. If he wasn't, then I'd have to come and do his head again and do some assisted belly breathing. Again, just holding. So I know I keep saying it, but I can't emphasize it enough. A very important quality is patience. Right? And this is what I was saying with, you know, a lot of the Japanese practitioners were pointing out, a lot of Westerners, we gotta get it done. Okay? So look at that tendency, if you've got it inside yourself, and go, no. Imagine that there is no time limits here, right? And instead focus on the feeling. Is what I'm doing releasing that? It takes some time. Is every breath he's taking, is it enabling me to go in deeper? That, to me, when we look at when we talk about Zen Shiatsu, that concept of Zen is also about, when you look at, you know, a lot of Japanese culture, like the tea ceremony, you know, it's actually about slowing down and performing an activity with deep awareness, okay? So I think that's one of the most important things you can take away from things like Zen Shiatsu as well, is that just, I'm here, I'm not going to rush it, you know? Okay? Whereas I do feel, like I say, modern Western living, you know, there's a tendency, got to get this. You know, like a lot of people in the cities, I got to do that. I got to, so much, you know, shit, I got to get done in it. And then you end up doing more like a superficial job, that it's that's not going to be conducive to this kind of work. When I come down to this first joint on this side, again, you notice I got 3 fingers there, keeping his finger in position. Otherwise, you know, it's just going to move with it. But I can also hold that point and then even just move the finger into my chopstick, okay, as well as pushing my chopstick into there. And I can also bring the band closer to the surface by stretching the finger out as I come down into here. And you can see here, I can increase my speed and I can increase the amount that I move it side to side, because if I've done it, whatever percentage I've got out here should come away pretty easily, okay? This is the real stubborn anchoring area, okay? And I'm gonna come back to this point. And just let him feel that, be aware of it, and breathe into it. And I am going a bit deeper, and I know I'm pushing him more like a 9 rather than an 8 or a 9.5.
You're doing good, Richard.
Yes, he is. And we know he's doing the best he can, right? Because you can see the breath is, you know, his belly's rising. There's no point, oh, deep breathe. Don't tell people to deep breathe when they're already deep breathing. I find some people do that. It's like, oh, I got to tell them to breathe. Well, actually, they're already breathing. And you telling them to deep breathe when they're breathing is just a complete distraction, right? So he's doing well. We're just going to work with what he's given us, which is a lot, right? He's giving us that. So I'm going to come into that. Now I'm going to do a bit more of a side-to-side movement just to break, and I'm going to change my angle and do a bit of a fairly intense stimulation of that point, right? Now I'm just going to let him just see how that affects him, let his breath catch up. Because that final, it's fairly strong in terms of energy. Excuse me. And then I'm coming on a second run now on this back one here. Quite deep.